From Penn State, this is Weather World.
Hello everybody, I'm Fred Gadomski along with Travis Patterson. Welcome to Weather World on this Thursday night, and it was a cool start across much of the state this morning, but now everyone seems to be warming up.
Yes, we warmed up rather nicely throughout the day. Everybody into the mid-70s, it seems like, but a change in the weather this weekend when everybody gets in on a chance of rain.
Okay, and in some places we can use some rain. So in just a moment, Travis will be giving us the details of the weather for the next couple of days. Also tonight, it is a Thursday night, and that means it's time for our Sure Bets segment. That's where we make a couple of weather forecasts that you can take to the bank. But now standing by with the weather for the next couple of days, here's Travis.
Thank you, Fred. A rather pleasant Thursday afternoon, and Friday will follow right in suit, but as I said earlier, a rain change again this Saturday. But starting out with a live look at Williamsport, Pennsylvania this afternoon, the eastern portion of the state dealing with a lot of sunshine, hardly a cloud in the sky in this picture. But quite a different story towards our west. Here's a look at Altoona at this hour, dealing with rather an impressive cloud deck throughout this afternoon. That has kept it a bit of a dull day there in those portions, but temperatures across the Commonwealth rather consistent. Everybody getting into the low to mid 70s, except for Johnstown and Altoona, still hanging in the 60s with those oppressive cloud decks. 75 in Philadelphia, 73 in State College, and 74 in Pittsburgh. But I think we can squeeze out another dry and warm day on Friday. Temperatures just a few degrees above what you see here on these readings. But the other main story is dew points. Earlier this morning we were situated in a relatively dry air mass as I advanced this throughout the day. Still a dry pocket of air in the northeastern section of the state, but looking off to the west we can see warmer dew points working into western Pennsylvania with Erie at 63 degrees, 58 in Pittsburgh, and over in Ohio they're already in the middle 60s for dew points. So some warmer, more muggy air is starting to nudge into western Pennsylvania, and this, along with the clouds, will keep overnight lows in, at least for the western portions of Pennsylvania, not dropping off too much overnight tonight. Visible satellite imagery shows a tale of two states this afternoon. Mainly clear day the entire day in the eastern half of the state, but dealing with a lot of cloud cover earlier this afternoon in the west and still hanging on to some in the lower mountains. But if we zoom out to a broader look across the U.S., we can see the main weather maker is in the center of circulation, is in northern Dakota and southern Canada, with a cold front dropping across the upper plains into the central plains. But another interesting feature here is a circulation of clouds here in the Gulf of California. That was actually Hurricane Manuel that made landfall earlier this morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time, 8 a.m. our time, and that is bringing some torrential rains across the northern sections of northern Mexico, and some of this moisture could be sucked northward along the south central plains ahead of this front, and we could actually tip into some of that moisture as we get into the evening hours on Friday ahead of this front as it progresses off to the east. And something to help that front progress along is in the upper air pattern with a noticeable prominent dip in the flow here, and east of this trough axis is the business end, is where we typically see all the clouds and precipitation hang out. And as I progress this into the future, we can see it dip farther to the south and push that front through Pennsylvania sometime on Saturday. But once we get into Sunday, we get into a more of a northwest return of flow, sending in some cooler, drier air from Canada. So we're just in time for the fall equinox this Sunday. But the surface map shows the high pressure system that had dominated our weather pattern this week, moving farther to the south and east. And as I advance this, by Friday evening, that front will be located somewhere in the Ohio River Valley, and some of the showers could sneak into western Pennsylvania Friday into Friday evening, but for the most part we'll have to hold out on the rain as we go into Saturday. A dry, calm night in forecast for tonight across Pennsylvania, but mostly upper 40s to low 50s in the northeastern portion of the state, as they have not got into that relatively warm, moist flow just yet. Lower 50s across the central swath of the Commonwealth, and staying mild in the western portion of the state, 64 in Erie, 61 in Pittsburgh ahead of the southwesterly flow. Going into Friday, a similar story to what we've seen here today. Mostly sunny skies in the eastern half of the state, but dealing with some cloudiness in the west, but temperatures in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees for the major metro regions for your Friday afternoon, but we could even see some isolated showers pop up in the Laurel Highlands and western Alleghenies on Friday afternoon, but those will tend to end out overnight on Friday. But the main rain comes on Saturday with a front slicing through Pennsylvania, starting with morning storms in the northwest, progressing towards the central mountains by noontime. Some of these could be local heavy downpours and a rumble of thunder or two, but redeveloping by the evening hours in the southeast. And Sunday looks dull as well. We'll be back with Sure Bets next.